News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Wednesday on Wall Street. It was hit by a tech rout today, creating a little market volatility. But we bring you the closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 lost 79 points. NASDAQ down 418. The Dow lost 228 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.14%. The 2-year yield at 3.48%. Bitcoin down 2.1%, now trading at less than $86,000. Medline Industries, a medical supply group, jumped more than 30% in its trading debut after raising more than $6 billion, making it the biggest IPO of the year. Bloomberg's Bailey Lipschultz says the success of this IPO says a lot while the market has a down day.
Also says a lot when you're an IPO that, with the green shoe being potentially exercised, you get close to $7 billion. So the biggest U.S. IPO since Rivian. I would say for all intents and purposes, this has been a far better success in day one than I think even the sponsors who backed this company would have expected.
You can hear more from Bailey Lipschultz on the Bloomberg Balance of Power podcast. 4 Republicans broke with House Speaker Mike Johnson and signed on to a Democratic-led petition to force a House vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies for 3 years. Bloomberg's Megan Scully says the timing here is tricky.
A discharge petition, which this is, essentially an end run around leadership, has 7 legislative days, sort of a waiting period. So that kicks us into January with both the House and Senate expected to leave by the end of this week. Right. It would then need to pass the House. There could be some maneuvers where Johnson, does some backdoor efforts to kill it, certainly. So it's not a guarantee yet to pass the House, but it certainly looks likely.
Hear more from Megan Scully on the Bloomberg Balance of Power podcast. Warner Brothers Discovery is putting its foot down in the bidding war over its assets. The board is urging shareholders to reject Paramount Skydance's hostile takeover offer and stick with its original deal with Netflix. Geetha Raghunathan covers media for Bloomberg Intelligence.
This is really no surprise at all. I mean, we knew this was happening after Paramount launched its hostile bid. So Warner Brothers basically saying that the terms were inadequate, inferior, and illusory.
Geetha Raghunathan with Bloomberg Intelligence says the Warner board sees Paramount's offer of $30 a share undervaluing its cable networks, and it says there's a risk Paramount could terminate the deal at any time. Federal Communications Commission Chairman Brendan Carr faced Senate questioning for the first time since he pressured broadcasters to take ABC late-night host Jimmy Kimmel off the air, a move that drew bipartisan criticism. Now, at that time, when discussing Kimmel, he said, quote, "We could do this the easy way or the hard way." And Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts asked him about that.
My job is to enforce the law as passed by Congress. That includes a public interest standard, and broadcast TV is fundamentally different than any other medias. We have a news distortion rule.
You regret making that statement?
Senator, my job is to enforce the law.
So you don't regret making that statement? Well, that's a refusal to take accountability for your language.
The hearing comes as Carr faces additional scrutiny from Democrats over media consolidation. Oracle shares are about 5% lower on reports its $10 billion data center project in Michigan may be on shaky financial ground. Bloomberg's Brody Ford with that.
The FT is reporting that there's been some issues in getting the financing for one of their big centers, and that's giving investors a lot of anxiety that, hey, are these lenders seeing something that we are not?
Bloomberg's Brody Ford reporting. Now Oracle says its talks on an equity deal for the project are on schedule, just not with Blue Owl Capital. The Senate has given final passage to an annual military policy bill authorizing $901 billion in defense programs and raises troop pay by 3.8%. But it also includes an aviation provision that critics say could endanger public safety. Nearly a year after a mid-air collision near Washington, D.C., 67 people died in January after an Army helicopter collided with an American Airlines passenger jet. The provision would require more safety tech in aircraft, but military leaders would be allowed to seek exemptions out of concern for national security. The White House is set to announce drug pricing deals with Novartis and Roche perhaps as soon as is Friday, easing trade tensions with Switzerland. Other drug makers could also be included in that announcement. President Trump is set to deliver a primetime address to the nation tonight. Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall has more from the White House.
This is going to be President Trump's chance to address American voters directly, as the White House is already trying to set the tone ahead of the midterms. We heard from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt yesterday preview that we can expect President Trump to tout his policies from this last year, while also saying that he will tease, in her words, new policies ahead.
Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall at the White House, where the president is scheduled to speak tonight at 9 Wall Street time. You can hear his remarks live on Bloomberg Radio, watch on Bloomberg Television, or the Bloomberg Podcasts page on YouTube. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.